Harry, was left absolutely shell-shocked upon this recent visit up to see his uncle Charles Spencer because, well, quite frankly, things didn't go to plan. As ever, let me explain. Morning chums, lovely to see you. Welcome one and all. Nice to have your company on a windy day here in the very heart of Yorkshire. Yes, you have to be brave to brave this weather, even during the summertime up here. Nice, as I say, to see you though. And by the way, thank you so much for your lovely comments about the recent sort of history royal video, behind the door of Charles I. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? I mean, so many of you agree with me. It's like doors like this, they've been up since the 1800s. And you think of the people that have gone through there year upon year. And we often study it and think, well, we're just here now. But of course, there's so many others that have gone long before us. That's history. I think that's why we find it fascinating, don't we? What did they see differently? Tell you what they see differently here. This side, you see a farm foods. You wouldn't have seen that 100 years ago, would you? Although judging by the food, you know what I mean? I'll just leave it there. Now let's get back to your royal story of the day. Prince Harry, some people might say, what a numpty. I mean, the guy literally goes from one extreme car crash to another. And really, this is all driven by the woman that he loves. He ought to title his book that, didn't he? Rather than spare the very, I think, rude title of his autobiography, memoir, whatever you want to call it. Do you remember the thing he came out with as well? It's not about the prince that I was born, it's the man that I've become. What a man that he's become, an absolute shambles, don't you think? Now, what's interesting, as many people know, and I told you the other day, he recently had a meeting with his uncle, Charles Spencer, Earl Spencer, and he thought, you see, that this was going to be the piece de resistance, the fact that he, naturally, was going to be able to take the Spencer name, move forward, of course, and the bottom line was, everything was going to be hunky-dory. His wife suddenly will be named Spencer, not Sussex, or indeed Windsor Mountbatten, or Mountbatten Windsor, or Meghan Markle, whatever she decides to call herself. Who knows? It could be as ever. It could be Beagle the dog very soon, right? Now, where this gets really interesting is this. You see, Harry, as I say, went up there, thought, and naturally was made very welcome by his real family. They are his family nonetheless, his mother's side. But the problem that Harry had was he thought that this great grandiose announcement of, well, I'm here and now I want to take the sort of Spencer family name, he thought this was going to go down incredibly well, that Charles Spencer was going to say, brilliant idea. Now, I don't know about you, but I think Charles Spencer has done an incredible thing, in fact, because he knows how hurtful that would be to his father, the King, King Charles, His Majesty the King. Charles Spencer himself has had some difficult moments with his own children, so he knows exactly the problems that can ensue. And there was no way that he wanted to pile on the pressure to, of course, the King, who's currently battling his own health issues. He would have known exactly how that felt. Now, according to an excellent source, and I'm sure you know who that is, chums, they told me that it took a long time to talk Harry round this madcap scheme. It wasn't just the legalities of it, it was the fact that Harry felt that everything would change because, of course, in America, Diana Spencer, Lady Di, whatever you want to call her, is still very much revered and loved, as she is around the world. A marvellous woman, did a lot of good things. And Harry and Meghan realised that capitalising on that tale of, shall we say, historical events would play out far better than his ongoing battle inside his own royal family, particularly the likes of Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales. As one can imagine, this turned out to be incredibly hurtful for the senior members of the British monarchy, because Harry at that point had never gave any inkling that he wanted to change the family name. But it seems now that he wants to cut all major ties with what it remains of his family. But again, if you remember, you can see just how deceitful Harry is, simply because he sat down with the BBC, and the bottom line was, he said he'd very much like to repair the damage with his family if only they were willing to apologise. Remember that. So literally on record, on camera, he'd gone behind their back, tried to change the family name, but then sat there at the BBC and said, I'd very much like to have my family back. It's really up to them. Of course, many knew what was going on behind the scenes, and we have many other senior members of the aristocracy to thank for that. Harry once again thought he was going to score an own goal, but what he actually did was make himself look incredibly stupid. He must be getting used to that now, right? Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.